Welcome to the Cigar Cypher, the podcast where the rich aroma of tobacco meets the spark of conversation. Let us guide you through the captivating world of cigars, from the ancient art of rolling to the secrets of perfect pairings with coffee, whiskey, rum, and more. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or just curious about your first puff, this is your invitation to join the Cypher. So grab your favorite cigar, settle in, and let's get started. The Cigar Cypher, a member of the Buenos Dias Media Podcast Network, where the smoke tells the story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Cigar Cypher, the podcast where the rich aroma of tobacco meets the spark of conversation. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado savoring your latest stogie, I kind of don't like that word, stogie, but let's just leave it. Or a curious newcomer intrigued by the craft, this is your invitation to join the Cypher, a circle of passion, knowledge, and stories. So, this is episode 1. Finally, this project has been birthed. I've been waiting for this for a while. It's been planning. It's just been one thing after another. And I just decided, let's jump in with both feet in the water, with sneakers on and clothes on. It doesn't matter. Let's just jump in. So today I'm flying solo to explore the topic right close to the heart of cigar culture. And it's the art of cigar rolling. We're going to dive into the hands-on artistry of master craftsmen worldwide, uncovering a few of the personal stories and the traditions that define the timeless skill. So grab a drink, my friends, settle in, and let's embark into this journey together.
The views and opinions expressed by the host, guest, and/or participants of this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Buenos Dias Media LLC, its associates, partners, and show sponsors. The content is intended for entertainment purposes and should not be construed as professional advice. Listener discretion is advised.
And we are back. This is the Cigar Cypher. So I think, I need to take a minute to explain why the name the Cigar Cypher. And I feel like I have to share some history with you for you to understand a little better. Let's look at the term cipher. The slang term cipher, written with a Y, for a freestyle session comes from the word cipher with an I, which has roots in the Arabic word cifr, meaning zero or empty, and was adopted into European languages as cipher with an I to describe secret codes or messages. But in the hip-hop world, the term cipher with a Y was popularized by the 5% Nation, a group that used it to describe a gathering where knowledge and spiritual lessons are shared within a circle, influencing its adoption by hip-hop artists to mean a freestyle circle. When we spend time at a cigar lounge, these types of conversation can happen, right? It can happen amongst your circle, your tribe, or your group of friends. And that's why we call it the Cigar Cypher. We all have conversations about cigars, and we'll have conversations about tobacco and the tobacco business and business in itself. We'll talk about life or spirituality, the types of conversations that we have at the lounge while enjoying a cigar as a cipher. So now you understand why we're called the Cigar Cypher. So now that I got our introduction out of the way, we're diving into the little art called cigar rolling, a craft that turns raw tobacco into a work of art. But before we do that, This wouldn't be a cigar podcast if we didn't light our cigar. So for today's cigar, I'm lighting up one of my favorites. This is one that I usually use to celebrate my wins. And being that I've been wanting this podcast to come to fruition for a while now, and we're finally here, I thought it would be suitable to celebrate this win with a Perdomo 10-year anniversary champagne cigar. This Connecticut cigar was rated a 93 by Cigar Journal, and the size I'll be smoking today is a 5x54 Robusto. I usually smoke them in the Epicure size, but today I decided to go with the Robusto. I don't have I'm not gonna sit here for 2 hours to smoke that. So let's do this. And today's Cut and Light is brought to you by Buenos Dias Media and the Buenos Dias Media Podcast Network for making it possible for me to create and build this community and bring this content to you. The Perdomo 10-year anniversary champagne cigar is described as a butterscotch colored Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with a Cuban seed Nicaraguan binder and filler leaves that offer a rich spiciness with oaky undertones. The flavor profile for the cigar is described as creamy and smooth. The smoke is exceptionally creamy and smooth from start to finish, a hallmark of Connecticut seed wrappers. With toasty, nutty flavors often described as almonds. With sweet undertones of hints of honey and caramel, even molasses or butterscotch. Earthy and spicy. A core, rich, earthy tobacco is present, balanced by a slight background of white pepper or black pepper spice that can increase in the final third. Other nuances, some reviewers also detect notes of coffee or cocoa, and even a touch of citrus. This is one that I love to retrohale. When I smoke this one, I love to retrohale, I guess after every other puff, right? Puff one and one and retro. I just love the taste of it because I do get the citrus notes. And right now, I taste, I don't know why, but it might sound weird, but I don't know if you've ever tasted cola champagne, but the golden one. I remember when I was a teenager, I used to love this. And when I retrohale, that is the taste that I get. So, needless to say, even though I already said it, I'll say it again. This is one of my top cigars that I have in my constant rotation. And I usually, when I have a business meeting and we're going to have a cigar or we're going to celebrate a win, this is usually a cigar I carry with. So let's start with the basics. Cigar rolling isn't mass production. It's a hands-on process honed over generations. A master roller or torcedor can spend years perfecting their technique, shaping each cigar with precision and care. This is why I hate it when the government puts all tobacco products in the same category. That it's so freaking annoying. When they want to pass these laws and taxes and things of that nature, and look at it. When you look at cigarettes and vapes and things of that nature, they're mass produced, and it uses unnatural flavors and chemicals, while a premium cigar is all natural and handled with care and precision like artwork. The journey begins with tobacco leaves grown in the soil. Some places it could be Cuba, Dominican Republic, Pennsylvania, in Connecticut. Even Puerto Rico's is growing tobacco again. You have places like Mexico or Honduras, and the top one in recent years, Nicaragua. Obviously there's more places where tobacco is grown, but we're just, mentioning a few of them just in case. These leaves are harvested, fermented, and aged, sometimes for years, to develop their unique flavor. Then comes the roller's magic. They select 3 types of tobacco: the filler for the body, the binder to hold it together, and the wrapper for that smooth outer finish. A single cigar might take 20 to 30 minutes to roll by hand, depending on its size and complexity, and obviously, the skill of the roller. So what makes this an art? It's the touch, my friends. Rollers use their fingers to feel the tension, ensuring an even burn. One wrong move, and the cigar could unravel. It's a skill passed down like a family recipe, often in small workshops where tradition reigns. So let me take you to Cuba for a moment, the cradle of cigar rolling. In Havana, you'll find factories like Partagas, where torcedores have been at work since the 1800s. One legend is Jose Castelar, known as Cueto. He's rolled the world's longest cigar, over 148 feet long, in 2011, showcasing the craft's extremes. But it's not just about records, it's the daily grind. Cueto started as a young apprentice, learning from elders, his hands shaping hundreds of cigars a day. His story reflects a dedication that's fading as machines take over in some regions. So we'll pause here for a moment to let that sink in, and more on the global masters after this break.
Looking to connect with like-minded men who share your drive for success and passion for the finer things in life? Welcome to the Apex Gentlemen's Guild, a private members club for men who value ambition, camaraderie, giving back, and personal growth. For a limited time while we're fully remote, you can join the guild for free. Gain access to tons of motivational content, exclusive events, insightful discussions, and a network of high-performance individuals. Don't miss this chance to elevate your social circle. Request to join today at facebook.com/groups/Apex Gentlemen's Guild, or give us a like at facebook.com/Apex Gentlemen's Guild. The Apex Gentlemen's Guild, excellence forged in unity.
Welcome back to the Cigar Cypher. If you haven't hit that follow or subscribe button, now's a great time to do so. You can also find us on Instagram and send us your messages through our DM at the Cigar Cypher. So we're exploring the art of cigar rolling. Now let's travel to meet the craftsman behind the craft. In the Dominican Republic, a hub for premium cigars, meet Manuel Peña. He's been rolling for over 40 years at Tabacalera Factory. In an interview I read, he said at 14, he was watching his father twist leaves into shape. His hands are calloused, his eyes are sharp, spotting imperfections others miss. He takes pride in cigars like the Arturo Fuente Opus X, a favorite among aficionados. Manuel's story isn't just work, it's survival. During tough economic times, rolling kept his family fed. Today, he trains the next generation, fearing the art might vanish as automation grows. Next, let's head to Nicaragua, where Plasencia family dominates. Jairo Plasencia, a third-generation roller, oversees production of brands like Padron. He recalls his grandfather's workshop: no electricity, just natural light and the sound of leaves being pressed. Jairo's innovation blends tradition with modern techniques, like aging leaves longer for richer flavors. His pride? Knowing each cigar carries his family's legacy. And then there's Honduras, where Estela Rodriguez rolls at a small farm. She's one of the few women in a male-dominated field. Estela learned from her uncle, defying odds to become a master. She loves the rhythm, cutting, rolling, tucking, and says it's meditative. Her cigars, often for boutique brands, sell for premium prices, proving skill trumps gender. These stories highlight a craft under threat. Big brands are shifting to machines for speed, but the soul of a hand-rolled cigar, its imperfections, its character, can't be replicated. UNESCO even recognizes traditional Cuban cigar making as intangible cultural heritage, a nod to its value. So how do we keep the tradition alive, my friends? Well, one way is education. Workshops in places like Miami or online courses teach the basics, how to cut a cap, roll a binder. Factories also host tours, think Partagas in Havana, where you can watch torcedores at work. Supporting these efforts keeps the craft funded. Perdomo Factory holds a few tours a year where they give you the whole shebang. Since they're a vertically integrated company, you can see the process from seed to bands to packaging. Another angle is buying hand-rolled cigars. Brands like Cohiba and Montecristo still employ masters, and your purchase helps sustain their livelihoods. Look for the Hecho a Mano label, which is Spanish for handmade, to ensure authenticity. So for our Cigar Cypher community, I'd love your input. Have you tried rolling a cigar or met a craftsman? I want you to drop your stories in our DMs on Instagram at the Cigar Cypher or visit thecigarcypher.com to share. For our next episode, we're going to explore cigars and espionage. Yes, spies love a good smoke. So before we go, here's a challenge. This week, seek out a hand-rolled cigar or watch a rolling demo online. Tell us what you think might feature your takes in future episode. Thanks for joining me on this first puff of the Cigar Cypher. And until next time, keep the art alive.